All right, we've seen ratios. Now I want to look at proportions. So we need to know what a proportion is. A proportion is a statement that says two ratios are equal. Now, this may seem like something new, but it's actually not necessarily something new. We've seen these when we saw equivalent fractions before. We saw that 2/3 is equal to 4/6. 12/8 is equal to 3/2. 2/4 reduces to 1/2. All of these are proportions because they're statements, equations, that say that two ratios are equal to each other. All right. Now the thing is, the situation you're going to find yourself in is when you have three of the values, but the fourth value is unknown, and you have to solve for it. So for example, we might have 50 over x equals 2/28, or we might have x over 3 equals -10/6, or we could even have 4 over x plus 7 equals 2/5. Now all of these are proportions that we might want to solve. And solving proportions, we have a very particular tool that we can use, and that tool is called cross multiplication. And it says the following: if we have a proportion A over B equals C over D, then we can rewrite that proportion as A times D equals B times C. Effectively, what's going on is we are taking the things that are diagonally opposite and multiplying them. A times D equals B times C. All right. What this allows us to do is take a proportion, which might be complicated because it has fractions, and there might even be a variable in the denominator, and it allows us to rewrite it as an equation that doesn't have fractions in it. All right? Effectively, we are getting rid of the fractions in an equation, and what we're really doing here is we are multiplying both sides by the common denominator B times D. The place that this comes from, I can show you actually why we're allowed to use cross multiplication. If we have a proportion and we decide to multiply both sides by BD, on the left the B's cancel, and that leaves us with D times A, which is AD. On the right, the D's cancel, and we're left with C times B, which is BC. And that's actually exactly what we have up here. So cross multiplication is just a shortcut that allows us to multiply both sides by a common denominator that gets rid of the denominators there. So in general, whenever we're having a proportion, we're going to want to use cross multiplication to solve it. Let's look at these three examples, and then if you need more practice, you can look at the examples in the linked videos below. So let's take a look at the first one. 50 over x equals 2 over 28. Let's use cross multiplication here. If we do that, that's going to give us 50 times 28 equals x times 2. So we've got 50 times 28 equals x times 2. And then we can solve. 50 times 28 is 1400. X times 2 is 2x. To get x alone, we have to divide by 2. 1400 divided by 2 is 700. So we end up with our answer, x equals 700. All right, let's take a look at this next one. We've got x over 3 equals negative 10 over 6. If we use cross multiplication, x times 6 gives us 6x. And then 3 times negative 10 gives us negative 30. It should be black. Oops. Oh well, doesn't matter. So we end up with 6x equals negative 30. To get x alone, we divide both sides by 6. That gives us x equals negative 5. Hopefully you can see how cross multiplication allows us to rewrite a proportion in a much simpler way. All right, let's do this last one. I'm going to do this down over here, giving us a little bit more room. 4 over x plus 7 equals 2/5. If we use cross multiplication, we've got 4 times 5, which is 20. And then in the other direction, we've got x plus 7 times 2. And I'm actually going to write that out as x plus 7 in parentheses times 2. We need parentheses so that the 2 ends up getting multiplied by everything there. All right, on the left we have 20. On the right, when we distribute that 2 times x is 2x. 2 times 7 is 14. So we've got 2x plus 14 on the right. To get that x term alone, we subtract 14 on both sides. 20 minus 14 is 6. So we've got 6 equals 2x. And if we divide by 2, that gives us x equals 3, which is our final answer. You want to get really good at solving proportions because the next lesson is going to involve word problems that use proportions. So we want to get really good at this skill so that once we're solving the application problems, we can focus on setting up the application problems and not worry so much about solving the proportions.